always, I'm excited to share this space with you, talking for development. It's Thursday, and education. The financial burden is the conversation from now up until 1 o'clock. Now, the conversation will start in full after the commercial break, which comes up in about 1 minute and 8 seconds. Now 7, now 6 seconds, now 5 seconds, now 4 seconds, 3, now 1 minute. So, head on to our social media handles on X at Nigeria Info page and Facebook page Nigeria Info 92.3 PH. Is there something I'm forgetting? Have I asked how's your mind? Did I also ask how's your soul? And how is your body? Black Tribe bit me to it today. Yo, Didi, what's up? How you doing? How's your mind? How's your body? And how's your soul? I'm Black Tribe, one of WhatsApp. Yeah, you can be one of anything. You are who you say you are. Don't let anybody try to down talk you. So that commercial break comes up, and then we'll talk about the financial burden. Usually it is expected that parents carry that burden, but seeing that things are not easy. What next? Stay tuned to us.
For more talk,
have is going to remind us of some things that had happened years ago. Whether or not it is still happening, some of us experienced it firsthand. Remember those days when the class teacher would walk into the classroom and he will hold a very big book. It's usually a hardcover book, but it's the long lens, all right? The body of the hardcover could either be between coffee brown and white, black and white, purple and white, or red and white. You remember those hardcover notes? Yes. And in that hardcover note lied, what was written down would determine whether or not you would stay in class. So people used to call that book the Book of Life. And I had a principal at the time who was from Akwa Ibom, by the way, Mr. Odofia. And he would come to the classrooms with the school accountant. Because then we had the option of either paying our school fees at the bank or bringing the cash to the school. But if we go to the bank, we should bring the teller to the school so they issue us a receipt. We didn't do transfers back then. So when you come with cash, they issue you, the cashier will issue you a receipt, or the accountant will issue you a receipt, and then you know that you have paid your fees. That was for secondary school. In primary school, the person that used to do that job was Mr. Ete. Mr. Ete used to be the accountant then, and he had his own. No, he used to be the bosser. Yes. Mr. Ete used to be the bosser. We'll go and pay all our fees to Mr. Ete. And when it was time to chase people for school fees, they'll go to Mr. Ete and ask for that Book of Life. So when you see Mr. Ete and you see a cane and you see that book, just know that they want to start chasing children from school fees. And while everybody was seated, they start calling names of people. So there were usually two methods. They called everybody out to the front of the class where you have the blackboard. Then the whiteboard was not that popular. So it was the blackboard and chalk. They called everybody out. And then they start calling names. And they say, if I call your name, go to one side. Or if I call your name, go to your seat. And that is how we will all come outside. And let's assume that the names of the students were as follows. John Chinenye. And John Chinenye will say, present. Say, go and sit down. Chinenye John. You say, present. Go and sit down. And that's how they go on and on until you see like 10 people outside. They said, the rest of you, go back to your seats, get your school bags, go home and tell your parents to pay your school fees. And it was, everybody knows that you had not paid your school fees. There was no discreetness about that, all right? So if you hadn't paid, it's either you were going to be told to stay outside, or they divide the people outside into two and say, these people standing here, or you go and pack your bags and come, or go to your seat. You can remember that instance, right? Yeah. And then by the time you were on your way back from school, probably in the morning, all your neighbors will see you. And they will say, Chinenye, why are you here back? And the children, very bold, they cannot even keep their mouths quiet. But they'll say, they pursue me for school fees. They chased me away for school fees. They say I'm not paying my school fees. I should come and tell my mom to give my school fees. I say, okay, your mommy is not even around. Say, come and stay here. Nobody is around. Your fellow playmates are in school. And everybody would know that you had not paid your school fees. And then as time went on, I got to discover that some schools don't employ that method anymore. What they do is that at resumption, present your receipts at the gate. If you're not coming with your receipts, don't bother coming. So they don't want to go through that. They feel it was humiliating for the child to have to bear the brunt of their parents' inability to pay their fees. So they saved them that and saved themselves that stress of calling everybody out and determining who has paid or who hadn't paid. And, having to bring that Book of Life. So sometimes the parents pay half and they say, you, the head teacher or the principal say, your parents paid half. The remaining half, go and collect it. It's more than half of the term now. Go and collect that remaining half. I'm not running a charity organization here and all of that. So that didn't end there. It went on to the university level, the higher institution level, the tertiary institution level, I beg your pardon. Imagine sending a child to go to school without school fees or upkeep money. So, if you go to Uniport or go to any of the institutions around us, you will discover that for some of the undergraduates you find there, they were sent to school with maybe half rubber of rice, half rubber of gari, bottles of palm oil, half rubber of beans, and they were supposed to look for any way to get school fees, look for any way to get house rent, look for any way to get money for handouts and the rest. That's the story of some undergraduates in Nigeria currently. But it doesn't end there. It's how the parents expect these people to come up with the money that they as parents should have paid. And then now the child starts reaching out to people for financial support to complete their fees. So, first off, the child gets admission, all right? And the child is supposed to pay what they call acceptance fee. And it's not cheap. In my time, it was a lot of money. And then pay school fees. You see, the year one school fees is usually more expensive. Now, in a federal school, everybody pays the same thing. In a state-owned university, they have the indigenes and non-indigenes, and the non-indigenes are made to pay more, and the indigenes pay less. So overall, it's a lot of money. And then they're supposed to pay other fees, and then they can now be seen as bona fide students of that school, and then they will be issued a MAT number. They're supposed to have done all of that even before the matriculation day. But as I speak to you, as at matriculation day, some of these students are yet to offset some of those bills. But the story is at home is, my pikin don't get admission. Congratulations. So what's in they study? I don't even forget that thing when they study self. When they go to school now, I know. But how the child manages to balance up that money. So some parents try. They give you half. And they expect you to figure out the half. Within the week, someone reached out to me and said the person needed the complete money for clearance. And the first question I asked is, what about your parents? She said, my parents said they don't have. And I know sometimes it's a lie, but I had to, figure out how it was possible for some parents to just send their children to school and tell them they don't have. And this was a girl. So if she starts having boyfriend now, or she starts doing one or two things to make money, what happens? So I go through her profile and I see who her father is and I see who her mother is. And I see some messages she had put up for their parents during their birthdays, Mother's Days and Father's Days. And I see how appreciative she is of all they do. So this was me caught between believing her story and actually seeing the possibility that there is truth in what she had said, because from personal experience and shared experience, it is a possibility. But my questions are, should parents feel ashamed when their children have to beg other people for financial help to pay fees? Who should be the one sourcing for funds for a child's education? Is it the parent or the child? When you end up sending your child to school with little or no money to offset school bills, when that child graduates, are you still going to call yourself a proud parent who has 3 graduates, 4 graduates, 5 graduates, or 1 graduate, as the case may be? Let's talk. 0817 923 923 0002. We also have 0817 923 0003. That is 0817 923 0003. Send us a message on X at Nigeria Info PH. Tweeted us, I beg your pardon. Tweeted us on X at Nigeria Info PH. And then on WhatsApp, 0809 030 6416. Watch live on Facebook page, Nigeria Info 92.3 PH. But most importantly, be a part of the conversation by sending your dropping your comments in the comment section, and in course of the conversation I will get to read them. Now, our call screener is in standby to take your calls first before passing you on to me in the studio. So when you do call, the first voice you would hear would not be my voice, but of course that of the call screener. I love it when you listen, but it is far more interesting when you are part of a conversation by calling the numbers, sending your messages, or dropping your comments in any of our posts on social media, on any of our posts on social media. I have Robinson from Arlo. Hi, Robin. Welcome to the Sunny Side. Let's talk.
Good day.
To you too.
Actually, I contribute to the story. Actually, every parent knows that it's our responsibility to take care of the school, the financial burden of the education of their children. And it's a thing that when they do it, they do with pride if they have money. Hello?
Robinson, I'm with you. I didn't go anywhere. I'm listening to you.
All right. So sometimes such a deficiency on the part of the parents as a result of the economy of the country for now. And, realizing the importance of education, every parent who wants his or her children to go to school. That's why they manage the little they can provide. And sometimes, though it's not even a right for them to say, sort things out for yourself, So, but they still have to try. Maybe they try again to pay some other time. That's why there's need for the government to provide the enabling environment for students to, help themselves. And that is why this bill just been signed by the president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, talking about the student loan is very germane, very good at this time. So this will help the students to help themselves in such situations.
Okay, thank you so much, Robinson from Arlo. But then again, if your children will have to look forward to scholarships and look forward to student loans and all of that, what does it tell on your efforts as a parent? All fingers are not equal, I understand correctly, but before the decision to train your child through school, don't you sit and count the cost? I'm not saying this because I'm not talking because of some level of privilege. No, I'm saying that things will happen somewhere along the line. It's a different thing when the parents are not in the picture. I have people who their children do not live with them. No, their children live with other people, but they always will send the child's school fees to those people their children live with. And the child knows that I am living with Uncle This. Uncle This is not the one paying my school fees. My mom still sends school fees that Uncle This pays. It's a conversation they have with the person. Okay, see what my budget can allow. I don't want to burden you with having to take care of my child. My child is living with you. You're feeding my child. You're clothing my child. You have your own children. And you will still be the one paying my child's school fees. So this is what is going to happen. I would always send the school fees. At least that one I must ensure I do. And maybe the child is okay with the entire arrangement, or whoever is the child is living with, whoever the child is living with is also okay with that arrangement. Jerry from Rukwaku, welcome to the Sunny Side. Go ahead.
Yeah, Denise, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you doing today?
Very well, thank you. Denise, you see, this issue has a lot to do with family. A lot to do with family. And I want to throw this line of saying, parenting is not competition around. Yeah, we know that some churches can go into unwanted pregnancy, childbirth, when you go parties and all. Yes, such cases, the child would need to be trained. But most of the cases I've seen, that person going into marriage and parenting because they find out that Okona is married by way of age, and then you join it, notwithstanding your financial status or your ability to be student. And this, student education, of course, high level of poverty in the system. Now tell me, a child that's gone with that kind of push, how you want to read the book now? How would you concentrate to read the book for crying out loud? It's not possible. That child will come out playing color. That's where you see the influence of cortisone now taking to play. For them to survive, and it's to survive. Now you're talking about tuition fees and feeding. Housing. That's when this is coming, because they now have to manipulate them because of the play of survival now comes in. The child will now do anything to survive. And for the female, of course, prostitution. Mobbing will now become the high increase. Well, the government just used it and they want to pass student loan. That will sensitive it will be. We don't know, but whatever that student loan is, please and please, if you're not ready to be a parent, you don't have a financial capability, don't go into childbearing. You might get married, yes, and then wait till you have the financial capacity to train a child. And it's not the era of giving.
Well, the truth of the matter, Jerry, is that there are people that fell from grace to grass. Things were going well for them. Their child's education. They had decided my child will go to so school. They know how much the school fees will cost. But then life happened. I don't know if you understand what I'm saying. Life happened. So there is that possibility that things may not go well all the time. However, if that eventually does happen, who should be the one sourcing for the fees? Is it your child that will start reaching out to Uncle Chukuma or Auntie Olabisi?
Now, in that case, that's where the welfare department comes into play. Which, of course, we don't have those. Can I shock you? I left school in 2008. I have not even gotten into marriage, not talking about childbearing. Because I understand the effect that I into. I don't want to give a baby that will throw into risk of the society. Like, if I have 2 kids, trust me, if I'm able to, like I plan to do a farm, I've looked at the parameters of the farm. If I'm going to farm, I know things that will be high. I can kill and then see for those children. Just imagine you just go to be, you die off. That savings can take care of that child along with it. If you are planning to check eventualities that are beyond your own presumption and control. That's the essence of planning. So a lot of people don't plan. If you save for your child, you can save for your child and pay for the thing that you want for the sake of education. The school will now be of obligation to educate that child because you paid for the entire tuition fee and everything. And then you start planning before you start doing for the junior secondary 1, 2, 3. You've already saved for the university fees. Do you understand?
Yeah.
So planning and adequate saving will help.
Okay.
And then I run into this rat race and because of competition, and then at the end of the day, you put that child into wedlock. At the end of the day, they end up becoming half-baked graduates.
All right. They end up becoming half-baked graduates. A lot of people would tell you today they saw themselves through school. Not that they don't have parents. But at the end of the day, the parents take the glory. When people look at that family, they say, that family has XYZ number of graduates. I have a cousin who, for her to go into school, she had to do certain things and save the money with me. And she told me, don't give me this money even if I'm dying, until I say I want to pay school fees. And even the school fees, follow me to confirm the school fees I'm paying, because I will eat this money. You see how the parents celebrated her getting the admission. On matriculation day, they came. They took pictures. In this era of social media, they would have posted those pictures. And you see how they will congratulate the child for getting admission. They equally congratulate the parents for having a child that is in the university. So they look at some parents, and when they are having discussions, say, my child is in Uniport. Wow, there's a way they rate you when you say your child is in the university. So it's either you look too young to have a child in university, or you have done something noble, sending your child to the university, because it's not something some families can boast of. They have children who at SSC level, they say, this is where I stop. A friend of mine just got married, and she told me how her father clearly told her that secondary school is where he stopped. He has tried. That he even managed to send her to secondary school, and she has written WAEC. He don't do pass. He don't try, I beg. If he does anything more than this, he don't end. Because the next thing he told her is go and get married. And she had to see herself through the university, from baking 1 or 2s and financial help here and there. But how do the people who render this financial help feel when you tell them your parents are alive and well, and they are not the sole provider as it concerns your education, and you have to start reaching out to people? So it's either you're reaching out to people to help, and you gather the money and it's enough or it's not enough, or you're looking for 1 or 2 things to do to make money to go to school. And those 1 or 2 things may sometimes serve as a distraction. Again, should parents feel ashamed when their children have to beg other people for financial help to pay fees? Who should source for funds for a child's education? Is it the parent or the child? 0817 923 0002 and 0817 923 0003. Again, WhatsApp and Telegram number is 0809 030 6416. Mira from Okrika, welcome to the sunny side. Go ahead.
Denise, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Right. That's my own case with Denise. When I tell someone that I'm child is in the university, they say, are you even married? Not a sort of giving birth. Yes, I have a child in the university. And when they ask you what course, you say medicine. You say, look, Denise, honestly, absolutely, it's not easy. But did you know that parents do not, sometimes most parents are privileged. You know, the parents who open a student account or fixed deposit account, waiting for them to go to the university, and when they go to the university, they just give them the ATM where you start, use it for education. You find some millions in their account. But Denise, do you know that the majority of our population, parents, most times, maybe even more than half of our population, parents don't prepare that this is the money I'm keeping somewhere for my children education. No. Some parents, you know that even to buy jump form, they will go and beg. Buy jump form. Children will post run for jump form. Parents, they will post run. They just believe that waiting is start, they finish. Let be that the child just starts. By just go small vaccination. My daughter told me one case. She told me that a student committed suicide. She's in the university year 1. Before her parents died. Her both parents, 2 of them died. And she has siblings. She's the first daughter. Do you know that no relative, that girl has been taking care of herself and her relation? Sometimes she tends to take life suicide. But this time around, she just committed suicide. The girl just can't take it anymore. This is what is happening. So please, for me, I said that students loan, it will go a long way. Even if, I said it's like investing our students, our children, even before they get to the age. Before you know, they just pack debt on their head. How do they pay? Trust me, Denise. Some of them, even when this is the normal reality, when they leave before they get job or before they get, some of them will be in Japa. So will you tell me that you put their name on a blacklist? None of them are allowed to travel out of the country. But Denise, trust me, this loan to go a long way.
Okay, thank you. Okonkwo from Rumokuta. Welcome, Okonkwo.
Yes, Sister Didi.
Brother Okonkwo.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon to you too.
Yes. The education advocacy, the parents should prepare themselves financially and materially to send their children to school, up to tertiary institution. I concur to your thought. But that notwithstanding, my sister, are you aware that in South Africa, that the Nigerians in South Africa, the South African government gave them scholarship to study from masters to doctorate degrees free. You can go for your investigation.
No. See,
Then why is it that we don't have it
scholarships are
on
a
that,
thing.
on that
all right?
platform? Yes.
Loans are a thing. But what if the scholarship and the loans they don't come? What happens? Not everybody will get a scholarship.
Looking at the current economy, that people struggle to eat just once a day. Sister, let me help you. Are you aware that there are families that don't even eat from morning to night? That is why you hear of suicide every day here, which I know that as a media practitioner, you are aware.
Okay.
So, how can it be? This aspect of training children, helping them, at least government should take 50%.
Okay.
Then only 50% for the parents.
Okay. Zion from Jare. Welcome, Zion. Go ahead.
Good afternoon to you, D-Square.
Good afternoon to you, Zion.
Parents cannot and can never prepare for their children to go to school. They can never. School fees, 50 compared to the man that you prepare to go to school. He asked your 7,000 or she came back from the next that will have increased. The government is to be ashamed of himself.
Zion. I like us to be realistic with this conversation. I'm not saying it is possible to prepare 100%, even though I know that there are people who have prepared 100%. From the moment the wife says, "Baby, guess what? I'm pregnant." There is, some parents don't be like, say they know they try. How is it supposed to get them half?
Because the preparation which they give only is based on the material time. That material, most of them may not even add the textbooks, everything. They only picture it from how they went to school. It happened to us. Okay, on the go school, okay, 1 or 2, how many subjects? 9, textbooks, notebook, this, everything. Okay. But this child will get there, come back and say, "Daddy, the thing no reach you." Really?
See, Zion, do you know that there are children that go to school? Until tomorrow, week 1, they squat with one friend off campus. Week 2, they squat with another one in school hostel. Week 3, for an entire semester, they cannot boast of a permanent residence, as
one
it were. Yes. So you send your child to a school outside the state, and you're not even thinking of how the child will be accommodated. That's away from school fees and textbooks and handouts.
This distance stuff, it is the students that cite it to the children. I supposed to school here in university. I said, my parents were not aware. I went to just imagine the distance. Even in the crisis and everything.
You know what, Zion? This conversation will come back after trending stories to round off, all right? Thank you. And everyone else who seems eager to share their thoughts, not to worry. After the news break, I see some of your messages for those of you watching live on Facebook. I see a plethora of them on WhatsApp as well. We'll come back to this. But now we take a pause, and then we'll go on the news break. Trending stories. Stay tuned.
It's